Hey there. Hey, how are you?
There you go.
Good to see
Uh,
you.
what did
You're a little choppy. What did you say? Not hearing anything from you.
can you hear me right now?
Yes, I can. Much better. I forgot to let Rachel know I came in the back door.
The question is, how do I find Gabby? Because now 226 people.
Are you managing participants?
Yes.
Can we scroll through them?
Oh, geez. I don't know if there's a better way to do that.
They're in no order.
Nope, not alphabetical.
What's her last name?
Waskovich.
Waskovich.
Waskovich. So technically more people registered than permitted in the room.
We're just going to let it sell out. Oh, I just saw her. There she is. So we are going to let it sell out. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll send the replay out to people.
Yes.
All right. Pete kind of wanted me to say if you buy today, I know Sandy doesn't want any more bonuses, but if you buy today, you can be in on the live coaching Friday and this Friday and next Friday.
Oh, did he?
But
she's not going to like that.
Do you guys have a way? Well, it's going to happen with everybody who's in the course. That's automatically. True. All we need to do is invite them to the coaching calls. But my thinking was to say I forgot to do that.
So,
I don't know if you think live coaching will put them over the edge. I mean, if live coaching is actually what puts people over the edge. I'm open to that.
I mean, I think Eric's GoPro World Tour did really well, but he also did a 7x7 where I think every day he came into the Facebook group they were part of and coached them.
There's no Facebook group here, right?
No. Mm-hmm. But the price point is really good for this, and I think it's so relevant for them. And Sandy feels really strongly this is going to be the better offer of the two. So, no pressure.
Better offer of the two.
Yeah, because she just feels like this module of the 3 modules is the most relevant to MLMers or network marketers, in their profession.
I agree. But the master salesperson of our generation is not on the call. Only his coaches.
That's true. You can do it with the H you want. It's funny. Okay, I think I'm just going through my notes of what Rachel wants me to do. I mute participants on entry, yes. Allow participants to unmute themselves, no. They can rename themselves. There's no enter and exit chime. Enable waiting room. Is there anything I'm missing? I don't know.
There was a fifth thing.
Are you good at taking answer or questions for people that raise their hands?
Well, can we go over an hour? Do you think it's okay to go over an hour?
I'm sure it is.
Q&A probably wouldn't fit in that hour, but if I make the offer at 45 minutes after, I'll be done with the offer 46 minutes after. We could take 10 minutes or 15 minutes of questions at the end.
Okay, that's fine. So, okay, so we'll figure that
out. The last thing you're supposed to do is remove the waiting room function after
once I let them in, yeah.
Yep.
And then there's Gabby. I'll be sure to explain to folks when we get there how to raise their hands. So Gabby, are you going to do that like through the chat? You're going to explain it, or do you want Pat to explain it?
And you do that simply by clicking on participants and then raise hand, right?
Yes. Yep. I can feel your enthusiasm with the exclamation marks.
So the link, we're ready to drop the link. I have the link in the PowerPoint, which is always useless. The link needs to go in the chat. We're ready to drop that, I assume.
The Talk Network Marketing Pro link, yes. And Gabby and I, yeah, so
Gabby,
Gabby.
I unmuted you, Gabby, in case you had anything you really wanted to say. I figured maybe you were muted.
Thank you. Yeah, which link is that? I don't think I have it.
It's in the main thread, like in the original post.
Okay, yep, I see it.
It just says the sales page is talk.networkmarketingpro.com. So that's the main one.
Okay,
and
awesome.
Then the gift framework, you're going to gift that. And that's also linked in this too.
Sweet. Awesome.
What? I'm supposed to give away a gift?
The framework, that PDF of your braid.
I am? Well, that's dumb. You shouldn't give something away if you're selling something.
That's what Pete said in that email thread. And she's going to put it, I think Sherry maybe should put it in the email.
Well, we'll do that at the very end. Got to stick around till the end to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that'll come out at 3:59 Central Time.
All right. Are you ready to rock and roll?
I am ready to rock and roll.
Okay, so I'm going to admit all and then disable.
Shut down the waiting room?
Yes, correct. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I am glad that you are here. I am Pat Quinn. Welcome to our bonus training on Signature Talk. Super excited. Still letting people in. Got another couple hundred people in the waiting room. Drop it in as quickly as possible. Holy cow. What's going on there, Veronica? Somebody's sharing.
Yeah, can you guys make sure that you're not sharing your screen? Let's see.
I stopped it,
Okay.
but that should be a setting that we have right here. I don't see that as an option for me. All right, just a few more people to get in here. Welcome, everybody. Why don't you take a moment and type into the chat box where you're coming in from today. I am in the home office in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Super excited to be joining you on a Tuesday afternoon. We have people here from Germany, from Montreal, from, let me get this bigger, Hollywood, California, San Antonio, Texas, Alabama, Phoenix, Ireland, St. Louis, Bulgaria, Texas, y'all. I like that. South Africa, Belgium. We have Indianapolis, Ecuador, Netherlands, Philippines, Chile. Holy cow, worldwide audience today. Riverside, California, North Carolina. I am excited that everybody's here. Wausau, Wisconsin, that could be the one that's closest to me. Cancun, Mexico, that's the one I'm most jealous that I'm not there. Connecticut, Utah, Spain. All right, welcome everybody. Chicago, Newport Beach, California. Super excited to be here. Napa, California, that one might make me jealous too. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, that's a good Wisconsin name there. Slovenia, that's not in Wisconsin. Ireland, Nebraska, Barcelona, Ghana. Wow, we got people from all over. Puerto Rico, New Berlin, Wisconsin. Now we're getting close. And I am excited that you are here. I am Pat Quinn, and if we haven't had a chance to meet before, I'm here today for a 60-minute training specifically on your communication, specifically on communicating the most effective way possible. I'm excited to be here today because I believe that communication is the best way for you to grow your business. Being an effective communicator can double the current value of your business, cause your business to grow faster. And whether you're just getting started as a network marketing professional, you've been doing it for a while and you haven't seen the results that you hoped to see, or you're somebody who this is really working for, you feel like you have some momentum and your team is growing, what I'm going to share with you today about communication and about your signature talk is going to allow your business to grow exponentially, your team to grow in size, and every conversation that you have from this point forward is going to be more effective. And so I am Pat Quinn. I actually didn't get my start as a professional speaker. As many of you know, I got my start as a professional magician and was a professional magician for 10 years. Then I became a public school teacher for 10 years. And eventually I started helping other people with their communication. I've been fortunate enough over the last 10 years to work with some of the greatest speakers in the world: Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Grant Cardone, Damon John, and a couple of sharks from Shark Tank, Michael Hyatt, who many of you know, and Eric and Marina Worry. But most of the people that I work with are not professional speakers. Most of the people that I work with wouldn't even call themselves speakers. Most of the people that I work with are business owners, just like you, who want to grow their business, attract new customers, and grow the size of their team through speaking. Now, you could do that speaking one-to-one across the table at Starbucks, on the telephone, or on Zoom, or you could do that speaking one-to-many with 5 people in a living room, 10 people on a Zoom call, or 50 people in a hotel ballroom. Whatever it is, what you say when you talk about what you do and how you say it makes all the difference in the world. Now, I'm hyper-focused on your audience. I pay attention to your audience, which is why my first piece of advice, if you're ever standing up speaking in front of a live audience, is don't film yourself. Don't have a camera facing you. Instead, turn that camera around and have it face the audience instead. And you will learn more watching the audience in 5 minutes than you will learn watching yourself for a full hour. You'll learn the most exciting parts of your presentation and the most boring parts, the most engaging parts, and the least engaging parts. Every single time you watch video of your audience, even if you're recording the gallery view on a Zoom call, you're going to learn where you were the most engaging. And the reason I'm so obsessed with your audience is because I only have one measure of success. My only measure of success is not that people would say they like you. It's not that people would say they think you're a really good speaker. My only measure of success is that people would say, I want to go further with you. I want to engage with you. Maybe I want to buy your products. Maybe I want to hear about joining your team or the opportunity to start my own home-based business. Maybe it's just to come to the next event, attend the next call, attend the next Zoom meeting. Whatever it is, my only measure of success is what % of people who you're talking to say yes to the next step with you. And so because of that, we have scientifically designed the perfect presentation structure, the perfect communication structure. This is not our opinion. If you want an opinion on your speaking, go ask your sister. What I'm going to share with you is scientific research that shows exactly what you need to build into every communication. And here's the beauty of it. When you build this into your communication, we call it your signature talk. When you build the perfect signature talk, it's flexible enough that it can be done in 3 minutes or 3 hours. It's flexible enough that it can be done to one person on the phone or across the table, or done to 50 people. It's flexible enough that it can be done in the same room with someone or online. That's the beauty. And once you learn this structure, once you learn the secrets that I'm going to share with you in the next 60 minutes, you are going to be able to communicate differently. And every time you do it will be like a magnet. You'll see a higher percentage of people saying yes, yes to your products, yes to your opportunity, yes to joining your team. And once they're on your team and you communicate like this to your distributors or your partners, they're going to say yes more often. Yes to taking that next step with you. Yes to coming to the event. Yes to doing the training. Yes to picking up the phone. Yes to posting on Facebook. Whatever it is you want them to do, they will be saying yes at higher numbers. That's the power of a perfectly designed signature talk. The research I'm going to share with you today comes from the research of Robert Cialdini, Daniel Pink, Scott Adams, Neil Strauss, Stephen Martins, Jonathan Marks, the Nobel Prize winning economist Richard Thaler, who won a Nobel Prize for how to communicate to get people to take action during a crisis. Anybody notice what we're in the middle of right now? We're in the middle of a crisis. And when we're in a crisis, a lot of people say, I don't want to decide right now. I don't want to take action right now. I'm going to wait and see. Has anybody heard that in the last few weeks when they've asked people to do something? People saying, not now, maybe later. If you've heard that, just type in, heard that, right into the chat box. Because it's very normal in the middle of a crisis for people to say, not right now. I don't know what's going on right now. Things are strange right now. Things are happening right now. I feel uneven right now. And if you don't know how to communicate around that, if you don't know how to communicate so that people are willing to take action, willing to say yes in the middle of a crisis, in uncertain times, then your business is going to be stuck. But if you learn these signature talk secrets that I'm going to share with you today, your business is going to not only continue to grow, but because other people are not using these techniques, your business is going to grow at a rate that is bigger and faster than you have ever seen before. The percentage of people who you talk to who say yes is going to be bigger than ever before. It's going to make all the difference in the world. And you know what it all comes down to? Communication. How you communicate. There are important parts to your business. The tools that you have are important. The events that you go to are important. But I don't think there's anything that will grow your business faster than good communication. Why don't you take a moment in the chat box, and on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not that important and 10 being as important as anything could be, how important do you think good communication is to you growing your business in 2020? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think it is to you growing your business in 2020? Well, I see an awful lot of 10s, some 9s, and 1 15. How about that? That's even higher than 10. So obviously, it's really important. So I want to get right to it today and walk you step by step through the process of designing the perfect signature talk. You know, there's 2 things that you need before you start writing a talk or planning your communication. The first is clarity on what is the problem that you're solving for people. I've said it before, you probably didn't want to hear it, but I'll say it again. People aren't sitting around waiting for your products. People aren't sitting around waiting for your business opportunity. People are sitting around with problems that they need solved. And until someone comes alongside them and says, I understand your problem, they're not going to engage with you. You have to be perfectly clear on the problem that you solve, and you have to state it in the language of the consumer. You can't state it in the language of the expert. Let's face it, everybody on this call is an expert. Everybody on this call is an expert in your product, in your company, in running a home-based business. You are network marketing professionals and you are experts. But it's hard for an expert sometimes to go back and remember what life was like before you knew all this stuff. What life was like before your eyes were open to this opportunity. And it's hard to describe the problem in that language, but it's very important. Here's the question I'd like. The night before someone hears you speak, the night before you have an opportunity to speak to someone before they've even met you, what were they laying awake at night worried about? What were they complaining to their spouse about? What were they calling up their girlfriends and complaining about? If you get those words right, and you'll know you have those words right because they will immediately begin nodding their heads and leaning into you. Even online, they'll lean into you. That's the key to the whole thing. This is a language game, and you have to describe the problem correctly. The goal is that they nod their heads and say, holy cow, you're living in my mind rent-free. Were you at our dinner table last night? Because I was just complaining about those things. So we want to do this in 2 areas. The first is to think about your products. What problem does your product solve? And so if it's a skincare product, for instance, how does the prospect describe the problem? What words do they use? They don't use the big scientific words. They probably don't use the word all natural. What do they say? And then the second part of the conversation, of course, is about the business opportunity. It's about becoming a team member with you. What problem does that solve? Because usually people don't just sit around saying, I hope somebody shares a business opportunity with me today. No, they sit around with problems. What problems do they have? I don't like my boss. I don't know if my job will be here 2 months from now. I'm away from my kids too much. We're struggling to pay all these bills. I wish I had something to supplement my income. What is the problem that you solve? You get that language right, and it really doesn't matter what you do the rest of your presentation. They're going to want to go further with you. You get that language wrong, and it really doesn't matter what you do the rest of the presentation. They're not going to want to do business with you. They absolutely have to connect on this language level with the problem. And if you miss that, you've missed the whole boat. The second question that we need clarity on is, who is my target audience? I don't want you shotgunning to every living human being in the world. I want you targeting your communication to the people most likely to say yes. Who are the people most likely to say yes to your products and yes to your opportunity? I always think those people look an awful lot like me. Not for you. I think for you, they look an awful lot like you. When I first started training speakers and training business owners, the first ones I started with were teachers. Why teachers? Because I was one. I speak their language. They trust me. They know me. They look at me and they say, you're one of us. And we're much more likely to move forward with somebody who really understands us. And so I always think the lowest hanging fruit are the groups that we belong to. But you want to look and say, who's most likely to say yes to my opportunity? And that should be the audience that you should go after. So those are the two clarity questions. What is the problem that I solve? And who is the audience that is most likely to go forward with me? Once you have clarity on those two issues, we can help you with your signature talk. Now I'm going to share my screen for a second and show you the 4-part signature talk framework that we use. The 4-part signature talk framework that we use is actually right here. It is a 4-part framework, and it starts not with your content, not with your products, not with your business opportunity. The first thing I want you to share is your opening heart story. Your opening heart story is not about teaching content. It's not about your products. It's not about your business opportunity. Your opening heart story is about you. Your opening heart story, the purpose is to connect. That is followed by a head or content section. This is where you teach a solution to the problem. You don't teach about your products. Now, your products might be part of that solution, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But you basically want to teach them something new that will help them whether they do business with you or not. The third part of the 4-part story braid framework is the hands, or the call to action. Now, a great presentation leads the audience down a single path to one decision. Do you want this or not? One of the biggest changes I want you to make to your presentation is when you get to the end of it, you should not offer options. If you are getting to the end of your presentation and you say you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this, you should expect them to do nothing. What you should say is, at the end of this presentation, here's the next step for you. One next step. Do you want this or not? A great presentation is like a sidewalk with no off-ramps, leading to a single point of decision. And you don't end there. You actually finish with a closing heart story. Why do you finish with closing heart? You finish with closing heart because there's 2 types of decision makers in every audience. One type of decision maker is a tactical decision maker, and one type of decision maker is a emotional decision maker. And most people only finish one way or the other. One way to finish is with just a tactical close. And if you're a tactical decision maker, I can tell when you're presenting, because your offer is all tactics. You'll be like, the products come, you order them today and they'll come in 3 days. I'll deliver them usually on Mondays between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Sometimes I drive, but if the weather's nice, I'll walk them over to your house. And it's tactics, 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 tactics. And the emotional people are left high and dry. Now, I can also tell if you're an emotional decision maker, because when you're presenting your offer, you do it all with emotion. You say, hey, it's going to feel good. And the person you're talking to is like, I don't even know what it is yet. And you're like, no, but the freedom is going to feel so good. And they're like, I don't even know what it is. It's actually the person who can do both. The person who can tactically tell me what it is and emotionally tell me how it will feel when I buy it or when I join. That's the person who is going to have the biggest sales. That's the person who's going to have the biggest team. That's the person who's going to have the largest conversion rate. And by the way, if you're selling anything to couples, I see there's people on here who have financial services. I see there's some people on here who are in health and wellness field. If there's anything that you are selling that is sold to couples, or if anything that you do, like the business opportunity that you offer, somebody has to get permission from their spouse, you should know that most married couples are one tactical decision maker married to one emotional decision maker. And you need to get both of them to say yes before this offer can move forward. And so you want to get good at both the tactical close and the emotional close. When you put the 4 parts together, the opening heart, the hands part of your presentation, or the head part of your presentation, which is your content, the hands and the heart, you have a 4-part story structure that works 5 minutes on Facebook or 30 minutes on a webinar, works in a 3-minute conversation in an Uber ride, or works if you have a half day to spend with someone. This is the absolute most important structure that you can have in your presentation. This is the presentation structure that's going to help you all the way through every communication that you do, one-on-one on the phone or in front of 100 people on a webinar. One-on-one across the table from somebody, or in front of a group of 5 people in someone's living room. This is the structure. Flexible enough to be done in 2 or 3 minutes or 2 or 3 hours. This is the structure. And so I thought today, one of the best things I could do is go through each of these 4 parts and give you the insider hot tips, super ninja secrets that will help you connect with more people, convert at a higher rate, grow your team, get more customers, and expand the impact that you have on this world. In the end, this is never about revenue for me. I can help you make more money. If that's what you want to do, I can help you make more money. But that's not what gets me up in the morning. What gets me up in the morning is when the people I work with believe that what they're offering to people and what they're saying to people will change their lives for the better. What gets me up in the morning is working with people who really believe that they're improving other people's lives. And in the end, you'll get more conversions, you'll have a bigger team, you'll make more money. But I love to work every day with people who want to have an impact, a positive impact on this world. And never has there been a time where we needed a bigger positive impact on this world than right now. With so many negative messages and the economy in a free fall, people need what you have to offer. And I want you to communicate it as effectively as possible. I want you to get really good at this. And so let's go through each of these 4 parts. Let's go through each of these 4 parts and I'll give you my top secrets that we have for it. Let's start with the opening heart story. Now, the 3 things that you have to do in your opening heart story is to be ordinary, extraordinary, and show your why. Ordinary means I'm just like you. I've thought about what you've thought about. I've worried about what you've worried about. I've walked in your shoes. Extraordinary means I have a solution to a problem that you still have. I've figured out something that you are still struggling with. That's ordinary and extraordinary. Now, you've heard speakers that are too extraordinary, and Pete talked at our last training about the 3 C's that you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid being cheesy, which means leading with your product or your business opportunity. You're trying to avoid being cash driven, and you're trying to avoid being overconfident. The C that you want to lead with is compassion. And that's your ordinary. This is why if you're sitting out there right now and you're thinking, wait, I don't have an extraordinary story. I don't have a story of getting cured from the rarest cancer. I was never so poor that I was going to lose my house, or so poor that I had to move into a shelter, or I was homeless. I don't have a story like that. My story is actually pretty ordinary. Here's what I want to tell you. I coached somebody who climbed to the top of Mount Everest. And when he climbed to the top of Mount Everest and he tells that story to the audience, how many people in the room can relate to that moment? Nobody. Nobody else in the room has done it. But I coach someone else who talks about arguing with their spouse about whether the toilet paper should come out over the top of the roll or under the bottom of the roll. And when they tell that story, how many people in the room can relate to that story? Everybody in the room who isn't out of toilet paper yet. And so that's a type of an ordinary story that is just priceless. My most valuable story, my $1 million story, is a macaroni and cheese story. Why is it my $1 million story? Because every time I tell it, all anybody wants to talk about is macaroni and cheese. They want to come up to me afterwards and talk about what brand I buy. They want to talk about their recipe. They want to complain about Paula Deen. All they want to do is talk about macaroni and cheese. You know what I call those people? Clients, customers, distributors, partners. When somebody comes up and wants to engage with you afterwards, they're going to do business with you. They're going to go further with you. And so allow them to have that engagement after the fact. But it all starts with you telling a story that walks in their shoes, that is ordinary and extraordinary. Third thing you want to do is to make sure you show your why. This can't be about money. This can't be about getting one more customer, selling one more product, or getting one more team member. This has to be a mission for you, a passion for you. I think the fastest and easiest way to be ordinary, extraordinary, and show your why is through episodic storytelling. Episodic storytelling is not to tell us your whole life story. It's to take us into one moment where you had a big decision to make, or you had some thoughts, and you let us experience those thoughts in real time. One of my presentations, I start the presentation by saying, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm driving through rural Kentucky, asking myself, what am I doing here? And immediately, anybody who's listening is in the car with me in the middle of the night, wondering, what are you doing here? And then I go through the series of thoughts that I had as I was driving through rural Kentucky in the middle of the night. And the audience is experiencing those thoughts with me, those doubts, those fears, those questions, figuring it out with me. And when you do that with an audience, they become emotionally attached to you in a way that they simply never would otherwise. Now, here's some other strategies for communicating that opening story. One strategy, especially in a time of crisis, and if you struggled with people who've said, I don't want to do anything right now, I don't know what's going on right now, here's a tip. Lower your voice, not in volume, but in tone. Think about it this way. You have 3 different voices that you can speak with. You can speak with your nose, and when you speak with your nose, your voice gets nasally and it naturally gets faster. You can speak with your throat, and when you speak with your throat, you're kind of in your middle voice. But the voice I want you to use is your chest voice. I call it your heart voice. And when you speak from your chest, when you speak from your heart, your voice naturally gets lower in tone and it naturally slows down. The 2 things you should be thinking about communicating for the next 3 to 6 months is lower and slower. Because when you're speaking out of your nose and your high tone and you're fast speaking, that communicates panic. That communicates anxiety. That communicates that you're scared. But when you're speaking from your chest with a lower and slower voice, that's communicating confidence. That's communicating strength. That's communicating you can rely on me during this time. I'm not panicking. And so lower and slower is how you want to be. The other thing I would love for you to add in this opening heart sequence is an I believe statement. People want to do business with people who believe in things. And so after you finish your opening story, to come out of your opening story and say, let's say you're selling the health and wellness, let's say you're selling exercise equipment. I believe everyone deserves to feel healthy and strong every single day. If you come out and say that statement after your opening story, or let's say you're talking to someone about your business opportunity, I believe that everyone should control their own financial destiny. I believe that we should not rely on others for our income, but we should be able to control our financial future. A statement like that is so attractive. People want to do business with people who believe in things. And so tell them what you believe in. Opening story that's episodic, that we think with you, and then an I believe statement. Finish your opening sequence with road mapping. Road mapping is simply to tell us what you're going to share with us today, the 3 things you're going to teach us today. And be sure to include a time element. So this sounds like this. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to teach you this, this, and this. I actually did this for you a few minutes ago. I said in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to go through the 4 parts of your presentation and give you the secret to effective communication and increasing your conversion rate. And so all the way through, I let people know where we are in the presentation. We're currently in the first of the 4 parts of the presentation. And so this is how you should communicate in the opening sequence. And if they become emotionally attached to you with this opening story, if they see themselves in this opening story, you have not talked about your products yet. You have not talked about any business opportunity yet. You have simply talked about your moment, ordinary and extraordinary, in an episodic first-person way, and it's going to change how they feel about you. There's only one purpose of the opening of the presentation. It is to have them connect with you, have them fall in love with you, have them see themselves in you, to bring them into you. There's going to be plenty of time to share your opportunity and your products with them, but the opening 5 minutes is not that time. Finish that by telling us what you're going to teach us in the rest of the presentation. All right. That is the opening heart story. Now we're going to transition and talk about the second of the 4 parts of your presentation, and this is the content. Here's what you have to do in this part of your presentation. Really solve problems that the audience has, and solve them whether they buy your products or not. So I actually want your presentation not to be about your products and not to be about your business opportunity. I want your presentation to be around a topic that is related to your products or related to your business opportunity. And so let's say that you are selling, let's say somebody has, I'm looking for what businesses we have on here today. If you want to type in what your product is or what your product is about, I'd be happy to give examples of, let's say you have some cleaning products. Okay, everybody's staying at home right now more than they have ever before. And a lot of people have had to let go of their cleaning staff. And some people are cleaning their house and they're seeing parts of their house they've never seen because they've never been home for a couple months before. So a presentation on how to clean your kitchen, how to really deep clean your kitchen. Of course, cleaning is more important than ever right now because we're so much more worried about germs and viruses right now. So how to clean your house so that you kill all the germs. How to clean your house in a way that bad germs can't get in. That would be a great topic. Now, you are going to teach some cleaning techniques. Now, you might mention some of your products in those cleaning techniques, but the presentation is about how to clean better. Make no mistake, the presentation is about how to clean better. That's what your topic is. So the topic that you're going to teach about is not the products. It's related to the products that you have, okay? So I see some people here are selling supplements. And so what we want to do is give a presentation on how to feel your best every day or how to get full nutrition every day. It's not about the products. There are other solutions there that whether they buy your products or not, they would benefit from your presentation. You want to come up with a topic where you can actually teach them strategies, teach them tips, teach them advice. You don't want to be salesy. You don't want to be pushy. You don't want to be high pressure. And the way to avoid doing that is to help them, actually help them. Rachel, it was someone who was new to the network marketing profession. And when she took our Signature Talk Secrets online course, this is an online course that simply teaches you step by step how to put together your signature talk. This is the one change she made to her presentation. Originally, her presentation was, here's my products, here's my products, here's my products. Now her presentation is all about, here's a solution, here's a strategy, here's a tip. By the way, sometimes during these strategies, I mention the product that I use, but you can use any product, really. You can use any product that does what I do, but here's some more tips and here's some more strategies. And people are just attracted to that. The person who stands up and actually helps, is the one who actually gets the business. There's this technique called teach the criteria. Teach the criteria is this technique where you rise up above all the competitors and say, I don't care if you do business with me or not. Like, let's say you're selling a water ionizer, and Menchie's selling a water ionizer. That's why I bring this up. You can say, hey, you don't have to buy my water ionizer. There's lots of water ionizers out there. You can buy any one you want. I think you should buy one because of the reasons I talked to you about. It's super important. But when you buy one, here are some criteria by which you should choose. And then you teach the criteria by which they should choose. We're doing that right here in the middle of the content. We're just the wise old uncle helping them out. We're the expert teaching them how to be a smart buyer. If you were going to teach someone how to be a smart buyer in your product area, what tips would you teach them to be a smart buyer? I see some of you are selling wireless services. What are the 3 tips to be a smart buyer of wireless services? I see some of you are selling financial education. When you're selecting how to get your financial education, what are some tips to buy wisely? What are some tips to choose wisely so you don't get ripped off? Teach those. Teach those, and you won't be viewed as a salesperson. You'll be viewed as a helpful servant, helping them out. And when Rachel made those changes after going through our Signature Talk Secrets online course, she saw the size of her team double in the next month. And the number of customers she couldn't even, it went up 4-fold. This is the power of switching from leading with product to leading with strategies, helpful advice, and teaching the criteria. Actually help people in this part of your presentation. Here's 3 words you should always add when giving a simple strategy to someone. When implemented correctly. Those 3 words alone will increase your conversion rate. You can teach the audience anything really simple, like you should brush your teeth. That doesn't make them want to buy your toothbrush or sign up to be part of your business. But brushing your teeth, when done correctly, when implemented correctly, can be one of the greatest techniques that you have to improve your oral health and your cardiac health. Well, now suddenly I have to do it correctly. I was coaching a yoga instructor, and the yoga instructor was teaching the audience to stretch. And of course, you should stretch before you exercise, and everyone is nodding their heads because that's obvious that you should stretch before you exercise, and nobody was going to sign up for her online yoga courses. And then she said this: stretching, when implemented correctly, can be one of the greatest injury preventers that you can possibly do. And what popped into everybody's head who was hearing that presentation? There's a right way to stretch? There's a wrong way to stretch? I'm wondering if I'm doing it the right way. Will you show me the right way to do it? Is that included in your online course? Because if that was included in your online course, I'd sign up for that. Those 3 words take somebody from thinking they can do this on their own to actually needing to do it with you. So starting a home-based business, when implemented correctly, can give you freedom, extra income, and the ability to spend more time with your kids. Now I can't go anywhere and do this. Now I have to do this with you. Now I have to do this with you. And so I want to make sure that you add these 3 words to your content so that you absolutely get people to want to take the next step with you, whatever that next step is. That is the content section of your presentation. Be sure to really help people. The 3rd section of your presentation out of the 4 sections is the tactical call to action, or the hands call to action. This is when we give the audience one next step. Now remember, a great presentation doesn't lead the audience down a path to a bunch of options. A great presentation leads the audience down to a single point of decision. That might be that you're offering them something to buy. Like, here's my starter kit of products. It might be that you're offering to give them something away. Like, here's a free sample. It might be that you're offering them the next step. Come to our call. We're having a group call tomorrow night where one of my business partners is going to explain some things about the opportunity in front of you. It might be an invitation to an event. It might be to sign up to be a distributor. I don't know what it is in this particular conversation for you, but I know this. Prior to the conversation, prior to the presentation, prior to any communication, going on Facebook, going on Instagram, going on a podcast, going on a webinar, you should decide, what is the one thing I want the audience to do next? That one change changes everything. And you lead the entire presentation to that one point. If you only make that one change, and by the way, it works equally well with a prospect, a customer who you want to become a team member, a current team member who you want to come to the next company event, or you want to come to the next training event, whether it's your own event. A single point of decision at the end of your communication makes all the difference in the world. Jennifer is somebody who was in our signature Talk Secrets course, and she made this one change. She goes on Facebook Live every single day, and she used to go on Facebook Live, and at the end of the Facebook Live, she would either not tell them anything to do, and some of you are nodding right now because that's what you do. You go on Facebook Live and you don't tell them anything to do, or you go on Facebook Live and you tell them 5 things to do. You can check out my website. You can direct message me. You can check me out on Instagram. You can send me an email, or you can just give me money. Like, why are you giving them so many options? You want them to have one. Every time you go on Facebook, you should say, before you turn on the camera, before you hit go live, you should say, what is the one thing I want them to do next? Do I want them to message me? Then that's all it's about. Do I want them to sign up for something? That's all it's about. Do I want them to come on tomorrow night's call? Then that's all that this is about. Everything leads to that. Every story leads to that. Everything leads to that. Jennifer made that one change. That one change. And the next time she went on Facebook Live, 54 people direct messaged her on Facebook. And she set up 54 conversations. What's the price of a conversation? What's the value of a new team member? Have you actually calculated what adding a team member, an effective team member, a distributor, what is the value of that? How much is that worth to you? What's the 1-year value of a new customer who regularly buys your product? Think of not your best customer who overbuys, and not your worst customer who bought once and never buys again, but a typical customer who regularly buys your product. When they run out, they buy more product. What's the dollar value of that? What's the dollar value of a new distributor beneath you, of a new team member on your team? One that's being effective, not one that isn't doing anything, but an effective team member. So what's the value of 54 conversations? 54 conversations. How many of those would become customers and regularly buy your product? How many of those would eventually become team members and become distributors? There is a dollar value to those conversations. There is a dollar value to your conversion rate. And I hope you've thought about that. I hope you've actually thought that every time I go on Facebook Live and I get people to take the next step with me, the higher I can get that percentage of people who take that next step, there's a dollar value to that. There's also an impact value to that. 54 people got shown an opportunity to improve their health, an opportunity to improve their finances, an opportunity to go into business and change the financial future of their family for generations to come. 54 conversations from a single Facebook Live. What would be the value of 54 conversations to you? There's a real dollar value to this, and I want you to think about that, because your tactical call to action, if you haven't measured the effectiveness of it, if you don't know what is the percent of people who usually say yes when I offer this, I want you to start keeping track of that. You know how many people are watching you live at any moment, and you know how many people say yes. You know how many phone conversations you've had asking people to become customers this week, and you know how many of those have said yes. You know how many conversations you've had with people this month about the business opportunity that you provide, and you know what percent of those said yes. What if that percentage would double? Because when we taught Nicholas Kuzmich to do what I'm going to teach you right now, his percentage of people who said yes went from 7% to 35%. Now, I'm no math teacher. Wait a minute, I am a math teacher. That's 5 times as many people, 5 times as many customers, 5 times as many people saying yes to becoming a team member with you, 5 times as many. And that's because he made one change. He made the change of not waiting until down here for his call to action. See, I've added a red line to my picture today because I want you to understand the difference between above the red line and below the red line. There is a huge difference between teaching content and making an offer. And the human brain actually switches. The human brain actually switches when you go from teaching to selling. The human brain listens to content with a believing mind, a trusting mind, an open mind. The human brain listens to the offer, listens to selling with a skeptical mind, with a non-trusting, non-believing mind. Here's what I want you to know. What most of you are doing at the end of your presentation, you should be doing up here earlier in your presentation. You should be doing it above the red line. Because when you do it down here, people are raising objections, they're listening skeptically. You see it in their body language. I probably see it in yours. When you start to get to the offer, to the opportunity, to the sale, they start to back away from you. They start to, they laugh nervously. They listen with a completely different mind. But when you do that up here, they listen with a trusting mind. They listen with a believing mind. You're already telling stories. You're already giving case studies. You're already giving examples. All I want you to do is to make sure that those examples, those case studies, those stories are people who've taken the next step. If you're trying to get people to attend one of your events, then up here you should tell a story about Maria who attended our event last year. And they'll start to see what it looks like to take that journey. If you're trying to get people to buy your product, then up here you should tell a story about John who bought our starter pack of products. And you can even map the journey better than that. If you're on the phone with someone, you should tell a story about John, who I was on the phone with a few months ago, and he bought our starter pack. Now, what is the people who are listening, what do they say? Well, I'm on the phone, and John was on the phone. And John bought the starter pack. Maybe I should buy the starter pack. And all of a sudden in their minds, they start rehearsing. You see, as human beings, we don't do anything that we don't rehearse ahead of time. And I actually want your audience, whether it's 1 person or 10 people, not to be surprised by your offer at the end, not to be shocked by your offer at the end. I want you to make sure that when you get to the end, the audience isn't surprised by your offer because they've been practicing saying yes to it for the last 20 minutes. When you get to the red line and actually tell the audience what you want them to do next, they won't be surprised by it. They won't be shocked by it. They should actually respond with, I thought you'd never ask. I've actually been thinking about this for a while. I've wanted you to make this offer to me. I was hoping you would make this offer to me. Here's the other thing that this does. When you expose your audience to what you want them to do next up here, it takes all the pressure off of you down here. Some of you right now would say, I'm bad at sales. Like you'd say, I don't like to do sales. You might say, I'm good at it, but my team members below me, they're not very good at it. My distributors aren't very good at it. Well, the beauty of using this structure is that all the pressure isn't right here. If you get nervous right here, you're doing it wrong. Because the way I'm teaching you to do it, there actually isn't anything you could do down here to blow it. The sale is made in the first 30 minutes. The desire is created in the first 30 minutes. And there isn't anything you can do in the last 5 minutes that'll make up for what you didn't do in the first 30 minutes. And there isn't, if anything, that you can do in the last 5 minutes that'll blow it if you've already created the desire. I always say this, and it's a little cynical, but I think it's true. If I were up on stage presenting, and when I got to the red line of my presentation, I got struck by lightning and I fell over dead on stage, people should still come up with their credit cards out and try to give them to me. Because I already created the desire up here. There isn't anything you can do, and here's the deal. If you do this right, and you create the desire up here, when you get to this point in your presentation, you won't be nervous. You won't be nervous because it doesn't all rely on the last 5 minutes. They already want it. And when you share the opportunity with them, they're going to thank you for sharing the opportunity with them, not be shocked or mad or angry with you. And so I want to make sure that you do the offer correctly. You start it up here. Down here, you tactically tell them what it is, and then you finish with the fourth and final part that we talked about, which is the closing heart story. The closing heart story is to finish with emotion, to finish about why you wanted to do this in the first place and the difference it can make. It helps the emotional decision makers say yes to the offer that the tactical decision makers have already said yes to. When you put the 4 parts together, you've got a structure that will serve you well on every phone call. It'll serve you well on every webinar, every Facebook Live, every video that you post, anywhere you post it. It'll serve you well in every conversation. And here's the deal. If you teach it to your team members, you'll see exponential growth from every distributor that you have, every partner that you have. You'll see exponential growth. Whether you are just getting started as a network marketing professional and you don't have any customers yet or any team members yet, whether you've been doing this for a while and you're struggling to get traction, or whether you're somebody who's already grown your business to a good business with a good income and you just want to take it to the next level, this is the style of communication. This is the 4-part story braid structure that will make the difference for you. Now, I want to share with you a free gift of this map and some strategies that will happen with this. But first, I want to share my screen with you for a second here and show you once again this 4-part story braid structure. The opening heart, the head, the hands, and the heart. And you can do this in 2 minutes. If you go on Facebook Live this afternoon, open with a story, teach them something, 1 or 2 things, give them 1 call to action, and then have a closing heart story, finish with story. This is the power of the signature talk. And what I'd like to do now is share with you a special opportunity that we've put together just for you. At this point, you could go and write your signature talk. You could go practice your communication, but there is a way to do it faster. Would it be okay if I share that with you for just a couple of minutes? Then we're actually going to open it up for questions and take a few questions for as long as we have time. I'd love to answer your questions. Absolutely. We put together a special program that is going to help you create your perfect communication faster and help you communicate to your customers, to your team members better than you ever have before. And it's called Signature Talk Secrets. This online course will walk you step by step through the process of creating the #1 marketing tool that you have, the high converting signature talk with the story braid framework. You will use this signature talk every single day to communicate, whether you're in front of 1 person, 100 people, or 30,000 people. This talk will work for you. I'll show you how to craft it. I'll show you how to deliver it. And I'll show you all of the 15 techniques that will maximize the conversion rate. What is the value of 1 more team member? Because I have a feeling 1 more team member is going to pay for this entire course. What is the value of 1 customer who regularly buys your product over the course of a year? because I have a feeling one more customer is going to pay for this course, and you're going to get a whole lot more than one more customer. I help people like Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi write their talks. I help Michael Hyatt write his talk. I help Damon John write his talk. I routinely help the greatest speakers in the world write their signature talks, and now I would like to help you. All 4 parts of the signature talk, I will go step by step through and tell you exactly what to include and what you're doing wrong that's hurting your conversion rate. All of this will be done. At the end of this course, you will have your signature talk written, and it will be flexible enough to do in 3 minutes on an elevator or 30 minutes on a webinar. You'll be confident delivering it, not nervous. We'll take care of the stage fright because the entire thing will not rely on the last 3 minutes. And the desire will be there, so when you actually make the offer, people won't be surprised or shocked. They'll say, I thought you'd never ask. You know, David Butler invested in the signature talk secrets. And he said, I went directly in front of a handful of CEOs with passion and clarity and confidence. I shared my heart story, my content, and my call to action. And I got 2 agreements that eventually were worth $175,000 in 2019. Tony and Sarah Zalecki, I know many of you know them. They said, masterful content. I got so much accomplished, step by step through the process, making it super simple. And now I have a ton of confidence to share my story. You have a choice. You can take everything that I taught you today and you can do it on your own. Or you can save all sorts of time and all sorts of costly and painful mistakes. And you can receive the same instruction that Damon John, that Grant Cardone, that Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, that Eric and Marina. I went to Eric and Marina's house and did the same training with them. We're going to throw in a bonus. We're going to throw in a bonus because already we've got a training, but we're going to throw in the distributor growth power, which is how to write a presentation that anyone can reuse and repurpose in their business. This is a slide deck that you can use on any webinar, that you can use in any presentation. This is a slide deck that is pre-made for you that you can just plug in your stuff, but every slide that you need is there. And all you have, you can reuse it as many times as you want, and your team members, every one of your distributors can use this as well. This bonus might be worth the whole thing on its own. This is a $997 value. And so you get the online course, Signature Talk Secrets. That's $997. You get the plug and play slide deck, which is $997. And we're not going to charge $19.94 for this. This is $497. For a limited time, the Signature Talk Secrets online course is only $497. And you can take advantage of this offer right now at talk.networkmarketingpro.com. It is completely guaranteed. This will help you write your signature talk. It will do everything I've said it's going to do and more. And there's 2 ways to pay. You can pay one payment of $497, or you can make 3 payments of just $199. What is one new team member worth? What is the dollar value that you put on one new team member? The dollar value that put on one new team member is way higher than $497, I bet. What is one customer? By the way, the first time you give this presentation to a group of people, you're going to attract both customers and team members. What is the value of one customer who regularly buys your products? The cost of this entire course, the whole communication, the whole enchilada is $497 or 3 payments of $199. And if you pay in full, if you pay $497 today, we're going to throw in one more bonus, how to use digital stages to recruit and build your business, the step-by-step playbook. It is a simple playbook, a simple course that teaches you how to use digital stages to recruit and build your business. So even in the time of a pandemic, even when we're stuck at home, you can use digital stages, online stages to grow your business, to recruit new team members. If you one pay it for $497, we're going to include this bonus as well. So altogether, if you one pay, it's $29.97 worth of stuff for $497. I'll tell you this, picture a day picture a day when you don't wonder what you're going to say when you're in front of someone. You aren't worried about what you're going to say when you're in front of somebody, but you know the story that you're going to tell. You know the content you're going to teach, and you know the offer that you're going to make. Picture a day where every time you speak, online or in front of someone, one-on-one or in a group, somebody comes up to you and says, "Can I learn more about doing business with you?" Picture a day when you have a steady stream of new customers and new team members coming in every time you speak. You have the freedom to do that every time you speak. I'm telling you, the website to click on is talk.networkmarketingpro.com. And I'm super excited to be able to offer this. A lot of people were asking, hey, is there just the signature talk part that you can share with us? Is there just the signature talk part that you can give us an opportunity for? And Nikki's asking, what's the difference between the one last week that was $14.97 and this one? The answer is that this is just the signature talk part of it. Last week, there were 3 parts of it. There was also a stage part and a scaling offer part. This one is just focused on communication. We heard so much feedback that people just wanted help with their signature talk, and we will absolutely have the opportunity to go through step by step your entire presentation to map this out for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, earlier you answered how important was communication to the growth of your business in 2020. If you were honest in your answer, if you were honest when you answered that, and you answered that 10 out of 10, then there is no reason right now that you are not clicking on that link. If you honestly believe that the reason that you will grow in 2020 is communication, that you believe communication is a 10 out of 10 as it relates to your growth, then now is the time to sign up. Now is the time to click the link and sign up. Now, this is $497. It's not going to be available for $497 forever. It's going to be available for a very limited time. And with those bonuses, the first bonus, a pre-made slide deck for you. Do you know how many times I get asked? I'm sitting in Damon John's office on the 12th floor of a skyscraper in New York City, and he looks over at me and says, "Will you help me with my slide deck?" We helped him with his slide deck. We're making your slide deck. We're making it for you. Plus, if you want to pay, we're going to add the bonus of how to get on digital stages and how to use digital stages to grow your business. And every time you do that, you expand the number of people who see your offer. So I'm super excited to have this opportunity to work with you. I'm excited to have this opportunity to help you grow your business and have the impact that I know you should be having. The link is in the chat box. You can click right on the link right now. It won't make you leave this webinar. You'll stay here in the webinar. We want to make sure you get started. We want to make sure you're one of the first ones to sign up, and we want to make sure that you have this opportunity to grow with us. By the way, everything you learn is not only going to help you. Everything that you learn is exactly what you should be sharing with your team members as well. Because this style of communication, getting people to take action, is what will help your team members get unstuck as well. It's going to help your team members get unstuck. DB asks, what's the free gift? The free gift is a pre-made slide deck so that you have the visuals. If you ever need a slide deck, a PowerPoint presentation, or a keynote presentation, if you ever need one of those for a webinar, if you ever need one of those for a presentation in front of a group of people, or if you just want to show one person as you walk through your presentation with them, we are going to pre-make the slide deck for you and give you the slides. All you have to do is plug in your information, but we tell you every one of the most important slides that you're supposed to have. We've pre-made that for you. I have personally helped put those together. They match my style of presenting. If you liked what you heard today, the cost is $497 for the whole thing, for the online course, for the pre-made slide deck, and if you one pay for the digital course, I'm getting on digital stages. And so it's $497. You can three payments of $199 each. I'm going to take a few questions. If you have questions, you can raise your hand. Now, if you don't know how to raise your hand, you raise your hand by clicking on participants. And when you get participants open, there's a button that says raise my hand. And you can raise your hand simply by raising your hand there. And I can do that as well, and I can see whose hand is up. All righty here. Let's see whose hand is up with questions. Wendy, your hand is up. I can unmute you. Wendy, can you talk to us?
Oh, hi. Yeah. I'm curious on the course.
Yeah.
Are we actually working with you, or is it pre-recorded, or do we get to work with you?
It's a pre-recorded course that is going to walk you step by step through the process. I'm the one actually teaching it. I'm the one teaching the course. And we're going to walk you step by step through the process every step of the way. Here's the beauty of it. You get lifetime access to this. And so this isn't like a live training where if you miss it, you'll never have to be it over again. You don't have to worry about your schedule. You don't have to worry about being ready to do it this week. If you've got other things going on this week, you have to sign up now. You have to click the link that's in the chat box right now. But after you sign up, you get access for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, you will have access to this material. So if you change your product, if you change your business opportunity, if you present to a new audience, if you switch from presenting to clients to presenting to your team members, you can rewatch, rewrite, redo, and put the whole thing together again. You have unlimited lifetime access to the entire thing. That's the beauty of this right now. Veronica, you have a question. Veronica, you're unmuted. Can I help you?
Okay, I wanted to find out, how do you deal with team members, especially on your uplines, that, you know, they have a problem leading with compassion. They always want to lead with cash. And to a large extent, because I'm new, I bring prospects into this WhatsApp chat group where everybody with the uplines, you know, do trainings, and they're always, you know, showing off cash. So a good number of my prospects end up leaving the chat group, and boom, I lose them.
Great question, Veronica. I appreciate your question. So I always divide the world into two different categories. I divide the world into things I can control and things that I can't control. I can't control other people's communication. I can only control my communication. And so your question is really about the person, one of the people upline from you is not communicating the way that we talked about here today. And you can't really control that. You can share this information with them if you want, and some people listen and some people don't. You really can't control that. So that's in the bucket of things you can't control. Now, what's in the bucket of things you can control? What you can control is how you communicate. What you can control is what you say to your customers, what you say to your prospects, how you describe your products, and how you describe the business opportunity. And what you control is how you communicate to the team members that you communicate to, your distributors, your team members below you. You control all of that. And so my best advice is to not worry too much about the upline communication and focus specifically on the things that you control, which is how you're communicating. And I think you're going to see a numbers change right away when you start focusing on that. And so once again, another question is asking about the difference between what was offered last week and what was offered this week. Last week was a comprehensive, much larger course for $14.97. This one is focused specifically on what we talked about here today. Your communication, your signature talk. It is one small part of what we talked about last week. This is one small part. And so we absolutely want you to get this part right. On a scale of 1 to 10, I asked you, how important was this part, this one part, to the growth of your business in 2020? I honestly didn't see an answer under 9. I didn't see an answer that was under 9. If you were honest when you typed in that answer and you haven't clicked on the link yet, my only question is, what are you waiting for? What else could happen? I've shown you how to get better communication quickly. I've shown you how to get better communication both for you and all of the team members beneath you. What is the value of one new customer? That's the real question. What is the value of one new team member, one new distributor? Because that's exactly what you're going to get out of this every time you speak. You're going to have an opportunity every time you speak to have more conversations, more growth, more potential. And so you're absolutely going to be sure that this is going to be a more effective way to communicate, and you're going to see more conversations as a result of your presentation. And so I'm excited about this. I'm super excited to get started with this. The online course you have instant access to. You can start it right away. People ask, how long does it take? Some people work through it slowly. Some people work through it very quickly. You have instant access to it. You work through it at your own pace. It's going to be a great opportunity for you. We can take time for 1 or 2 more questions. Then I want to pass out our free gift and wrap this up here. Let me see who else's hand is up. All right. Jody, I see your hand is up. I've unmuted you. Jody, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely, I can.
Okay. So my question is this. I mean, I see the value and I really want to do this, and I'm just trying to in my head justify because I'm starting out in my business, haven't made a lot of money yet. And like a lot of other people, was laid off from my day job because of COVID. So my question is this. If I buy this, can I share it with my team? I mean, like, can I let them do it also with me? Is that an okay thing to do? I don't have a very large team right now, but I anticipate having a bigger one.
That's a great question, Jody, and I appreciate you asking it. The course itself is just for you. It's copyrighted material, and you're purchasing the rights to have you watch the course. That being said, what you learn in the course is absolutely stuff that you should teach your team members. What you learn in the course is absolutely going to help you communicate to your small team, whether you're sitting out here with 1 team member, 5 team members, or 500 team members, communicating better to them, getting them to take action, getting them to get unstuck is going to be one of the keys to growing in 2020. And so I would say 2 things. The first is that you should definitely take what you teach, what you learn from the course, and pass it on to them. Do trainings with them, help them with this. And the second thing I would say is that this will also change how you communicate to them so that they start taking more action as well. And so you want to make sure that you absolutely are communicating this to your team. It's going to improve your communication. It's going to improve the communication of everyone on your team. It's going to change the way you do business. I'm excited that you're going to take advantage of this, Jody. I hope you will, because you're at the very perfect time to do it. I can't tell you how many, and Tony Zalecki told me this after he went through the training. Tony said, I wish I would have had this when I was just getting started. I wish I would have had this when I was just getting started, because he knew how much faster he would have grown. He knew how much time he spent in the weeds, stuck. And this would have unstuck him, and it would have unstuck him quickly. And so I'm excited about the fact that you have this opportunity. I'm excited. You can click on the link right now and sign up for it. We've got a 3-pay for you. If you're just getting started, Jody, that 3-pay, $199, you can get started for $199. I hope you figured out what the value of 1 customer regularly buying from you is. And I hope you figured out, even though your team is small, I hope you figured out the incredible value of every team member that you have beneath you. Those are high dollar values. Nicholas Kuzmich, his conversion rate went up 5 times. Jennifer, who I talked about, who took Signature Talk Secrets earlier this year, she got 54 conversations from a single Facebook Live. And so I want to give you the opportunity to do this. I want to give you the opportunity to 3-pay it for $199 each. We have time for 1 more question. Why don't we give that one to Debbie. Debbie, you are unmuted. Are you here with us, Debbie?
Yes, I am.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing,
Well,
Pat?
good.
Well, this is kind of, I see all of the questions, and people are wanting to know what 1497 went for. I guess I'm confused because I thought this was part of our 1497.
This was part of your 1497. And so
But
this is
how is
included
it-
in the 1497. This is one small part of it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so how is it? I guess for $2,000, we get this defined a little better for us, or?
If you bought the $14.97, if you bought that course, you should not buy this. You already have this.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I hope
Okay.
that clears it up. This is not for people who bought last week. If you bought the Stage to Scale program last week, this is not for you. You already have this. This is for people who did not buy this, did not buy that. This is a lower priced offer for people who turned down that opportunity, but still need help with their signature talk. And so if you looked at that last week and said that that offer wasn't for you, or you couldn't afford that offer, or it wasn't the right time for that offer, we still want to be able to help you. And we know the first way that we can help you, the best way that we can help you, is with help with your communication, help with your signature talk. And so the signature talk secrets is just that part. That's the part that we start with. That's the most important part. That's the part that everybody said was 10 out of 10. And that's the part that you should click on the link right now to get. And so we want to make sure you have the opportunity to get that. We're going to put the link in there again. It's talk.networkmarketingpro.com. And so this is one part of that. So, hey, we have a free gift for you. I appreciate you all sticking around to the end of this training. I want to make sure we have the opportunity to work with you and have the opportunity to help you with your communication. I know it's going to make a huge difference in your business in 2020, whether you're just getting started out, whether you've been trying this for a little while, like Jody, who we had on here, who has a small team, or whether you're somebody who's been doing this for a while and you have a big team. This is going to help you get to the next level. And I'll tell you, we taught this to John Ruhlin. I think a lot of you know John Ruhlin. He got his start in Cutco knife sales. He wrote the book Giftology, a New York Times best-selling book. When I taught him the signature talk secrets, he put his head in his hands like this, looked up at me and said, Pat, I have left millions of dollars on the table. Millions of dollars on the table because I did not do this earlier. $497. And you can be communicating tomorrow the way you should have been communicating for years. If you're just getting started, this is going to be the best investment that you can make. If you've been at this for a while, you know that this is an incredible value that will change the way that your team grows, change the way that you communicate, change the way that you do business. This is going to make all the difference in the world. And I'm cheering for you in 2020. I want you to have the very best chance of success in 2020. And I know this is the key to that. Now, we want to give you the map of this presentation. We have this printed out on a form where you can just fill in the template. We want to give you that as a handout for sticking around with us. And so we just posted the free gift for everybody for attending. It's at advanceyourreach.com/framework. It's in the chat there, advanceyourreach.com/framework. Absolutely want to have the opportunity to work with you going further. And so we'll post the link one more time for the online course. I think Signature Talk Secrets is the next step for you. If you're trying to grow your business in 2020, not just for revenue, and we talked about this, but this is about more than money. You know at this time that we need to help people. We know at this time that we need to serve. And one of the ways that you serve people is by helping them with your products and with the opportunity to do business with you. I want you to have the impact on other people's lives that this business has had on your life. And I want you to have the impact on other people's lives quickly right now when they need it the most. And the best way to do that is to effectively communicate what you're trying to do. And so the offer will be up for a few more days here. And you can reach it at talk@networkmarketingpro, talk.networkmarketingpro.com. We'll put the link in the chat one more time. I absolutely want to have the opportunity to say thank you to you. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for giving people the products and services that you give them. Thank you for giving people the opportunity to take control of their own financial future the way that you do. And thank you for being on this training here today. We hope to see you real soon at another training. I hope you take advantage of the Signature Talk secrets. And I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to spend some time with you here today. Thanks, everybody.